Today, we're diving into an absolute icon of engineering, a symbol of pure, unadulterated speed, and yeah, one of the most fascinating cautionary tales in the history of business, the Concorde. So, right off the bat, you see the huge paradox here. This thing was a breathtaking piece of machinery, a genuine marvel of its time. And yet, for all its glory, it just wasn't making any money. How could something so brilliant be such a disaster on paper? And that's the real mystery we're going to unpack today. Why on earth did two of the world's most powerful governments keep pumping billions and billions of dollars into a project that, by any sane, rational measure, should have been scrapped long before it ever took its final flight? The answer is, well, it's fascinating. But before we get into all the harsh economics, let's just take a moment to appreciate what an insane ambition this was. This wasn't just building another airplane. This was about making a vision of the future take off, literally. So what does Mach 2 even mean? We're talking twice the speed of sound, over 1,350 miles an hour. To put that into perspective for you, the Concorde was literally faster than a rifle bullet. Just wild. And what did that speed get you? Well, how about this? A flight from London to New York in about 3 hours. I mean, you could have breakfast in London, fly across the Atlantic, and land in New York in time for a second breakfast that was actually earlier than the first one. It was basically time travel. Of course, that kind of time travel came with a pretty hefty price tag. A round-trip ticket would run you about $12,000 in today's money. Yeah, this wasn't for your average business trip. We're talking celebrities, royalty, the super rich. It was the definition of exclusive. And the engineering behind it? It's just mind-blowing. The plane flew so incredibly high and fast that the friction from the air would heat up the metal body, causing the entire plane to stretch anywhere from 6 to 10 inches on every single flight. I mean, just wrap your head around that for a second. Okay, so you have this incredible, futuristic dream, but it was flying straight into a wall of, well, cold, hard reality. And this is where the whole story really hinges. You've got this massive clash. On one side, the incredible national pride of Britain and France. I mean, they built this masterpiece. But on the other side, you had the brutal economic facts. We're talking insane fuel costs, and of course, that infamous sonic boom, which got the plane banned from flying over land in a ton of countries. Seriously, this thing drank fuel like nothing else. For the tiny number of passengers it could carry, only about 100, its fuel consumption was just off the charts. Now, that was already a huge problem, right? But then, the 1973 oil crisis hits, and fuel costs triple overnight. It was a knockout punch. And that oil crisis was really just the beginning of the end. All the other airlines that had shown interest, they just pulled out, canceled their orders left and right. Then fast forward to the year 2000, and you have that horrific crash in Paris. It completely shattered Concorde's perfect safety record and, people's confidence in it. And just a few years after that, in 2003, it was all over. The Concorde made its final flight. So this all brings us back to that big question. With all these problems, why on earth did they keep it flying for so long? And the answer is a really powerful psychological trap. It's something called the Sunk Cost Fallacy. You've probably heard of it. It's that feeling we all get, that tendency to keep going with something just because we've already poured so much time or money into it, even when it's totally clear it's a bad idea to continue. And get this, it's often called the Concorde Fallacy for this exact reason. This plane is the textbook example. And you can see exactly how Britain and France got caught in it. They started with this massive investment. Then the bad news starts pouring in, right? Airlines are canceling, the sonic boom bans are limiting where it can even fly. But instead of saying, okay, let's cut our losses, that national pride just took over. They felt like they had to keep going to justify all the money they'd already spent. And so they just kept pouring good money after bad into a project that just wasn't viable anymore. So here we are, after 27 years, after all the amazing highs and the devastating lows. What do we make of the Concorde? What is its legacy? Well, it's just as complicated as the plane itself. So what's the verdict? How do you see it? Was the Concorde just a massive economic failure, this zombie project kept alive by pure ego? Or was it something more, like a flawed masterpiece? It really breaks down into two main arguments.
On one hand, you have the zombie project camp. They'd say it was just a colossal waste of taxpayer money, period. But then there's the loss leader argument, which is a bit more forgiving. The idea here is, okay, yeah, the plane itself lost a ton of money, but it was an absolutely incredible marketing tool. It basically acted as a flying billboard that boosted the prestige and brand of British Airways and Air France for decades. So maybe it paid for itself in a different way. And believe it or not, the dream of flying supersonic isn't completely gone. There are startups right now, like Boom Supersonic, trying to bring it back. The problem is, they're running into the very same walls that grounded the Concorde. The physics haven't changed. You still have the brutal challenge of fuel efficiency and that pesky, unavoidable problem of the sonic boom.
And that really leaves us with one final big thought for our modern world. You see, Concorde was born in an age where getting somewhere faster was everything. That was the ultimate goal. But today, in our world of Zoom calls and instant digital communication, does that kind of physical speed even matter as much anymore? It's a question worth thinking about. That's all for this explainer.